The other part about culture I think is really encouraging from our Chief of Naval Operations. When she issued out the culture of excellence, she said, hey, this is not just something that is a leadership problem. I'm not just telling you what I think culture should be in the United States Navy. I want to know what everybody thinks the culture should be. What do you think is valuable to every sailor in the Navy? Bring all of this stuff that's valuable to our Navy, and let's all make that part of who we are as our Navy. Now, I'm going to tell you, as your Chief of Naval Operations, this is the big C. This is the big culture. We are America's warfighting Navy, and this is what we stand for. Now, what are all these other things about who we are that is also valuable, and let's make sure we make that part of who we are. Now, that is going to be something a little bit new for a lot of people to take in, because we're kind of used to a leadership-driven, top-down discussion on how we're going to drive culture, because what we're used to is I set the climate and the conditions, and through leadership attributes and policy, I drive then what the climate will be, and that will establish culture. I don't have time for that. That takes 10, 20 years. You know, we're talking about a target in 2027 possibly, or even sooner. When we talk about the navigation plan, that's what she's talking about, a target of 2027. I need culture change much quicker. I need to have this kind of enculturated throughout my Navy much quicker. That means I need every single sailor in the Navy, you know, to take on board these attributes of get real, get better. Take on board the attributes of our culture of excellence. I need everybody to feel that way, because I think what we do is we get in our own way. And we think that the problem when there's something wrong with culture, it's about the other people around us. We don't look inside ourselves. If there's something wrong with inside our organization, the first thing we need to take stock of is, what do I need to change about my behavior? What can I do to make this organization better? What is it that they can help me to make me better? And we need to listen more to others around us, especially, you know, in the bringing together of the three generations that we kind of have, especially if you think about some of maybe even older. I mean, we still have some boomers around, you know, trying to drive our Navy, then the older Gen Xers, and, you know, the millennials, and then the Gen Z. And you take in consideration our Gen Z, the only time they've known our Navy has been the time of CRs and sequestration, and us not really resourcing very well. So that's what they know about our Navy. And we need to have a better communication strategy with them, and tie them and make sure they understand about how damn good we really are. But we also need to listen to them a little bit more. That's a lot of generations there to kind of strand together, and make sure that we're listening to one another, and we have a shared understanding of what all these different words are, and that we're sharing what our values are. A point might be is that myself, let's say, if we were to say, what are my most important things in life? Work, family, and my health. And if you were to say, well, put them in the order, I'd say, well, my job's most important, because if I don't have a job, I can't take care of my family or my health. But if you were to ask a Gen Z, they'd say, oh, probably my family's most important, you know, and then my health, and then my job, you know, because, you know, that's the order they put them in. And if they're not working as hard as I think they should, I say, hey, is your job important to you? Well, yes, Master Chief, my job's important to me. Well, then act like it's a priority. Yes, Master Chief. And they don't change anything about their behavior, but they're still thinking that it's a priority, but they're not making it the same priority that I think they should. Because I have not had a conversation to have a shared value and a shared understanding. Understand, we need to have some cross-generational conversations and shared values. We need to have a better conversation so that our culture is shared, and we can have that culture of excellence that the CNOs want us to have. It needs to be a heck of a lot more, and it has to go a lot faster if we want to be ready by 2027. That's for sure.